What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Rookie Numbers. Been a while since I've posted a video, but wanted to catch up with you guys right before Week 4 gets underway. It starts tonight with a division rivalry game between the Dallas Cowboys and the New York Giants. Should be a fun one. Both teams kind of in a must-win situation. Dallas coming off their almost comeback last week against the Baltimore Ravens, where Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry put an absolute number on that Dallas Cowboys defense. And then the Giants coming off a victory last week, went into Cleveland, pulled off the upset. So they got a little bit of momentum going. Just a little bit of statistical information about both these teams. Malik Nabers for the New York Giants is really proving that he could be a star in this league. So far, out of all the offensive players drafted in the first round, Malik Nabers is really showing the most promise. Obviously, Jaden Daniels for the Commanders had a really good outing on Monday night against the Bengals, went into Cincinnati and pulled off the upset, but Malik Nabers, the youngest player in NFL history, became the youngest player in NFL history to score two receiving touchdowns in the same game, so pretty cool. As far as the state of the Cowboys, they're in a pretty tricky spot. They paid Dak, they paid CD, Parsons is going to be paid. There's just not there's other than those three guys, there's just not a lot of talent on that team. That offense can get going at times, but the defense is just getting shredded. We saw it week 2 against New Orleans. They gave up 40 points, and while they looked better in the second half against Baltimore last week, Derrick Henry did whatever he wanted to on the ground against those guys, and same with Lamar Jackson. Dallas is a 5-point favorite. It's at New York. I think this is going to be another one of those classic tales of the Cowboys beating up on a bad team, and when they run into a good team again, they're going to, probably come up short again. But this is usually always a pretty fun game. Remember last year when the Giants and Cowboys opened up on Sunday night, the Cowboys absolutely crushed them. I don't think it's going to be like that this time. I just think there's something really off about this team. And while they, in recent history, have done well in the regular season against bad teams, they've shown that they usually fall short towards the end of the season in the playoffs, and it looks like it's the same script, different year. Dak Prescott is leading the league in passing yards right now. He has 851. Brock Purdy's right behind him with 842. And then as far as team stats go, Dallas is top 10 in the NFL right now on offense as far as yards per game. They are averaging 343.3 yards a game, so the offensive side of the ball really doesn't need that much work. It needs a little bit of tweaking. But and then as far as the New York Giants offense goes, really, as you would predict, Daniel Jones is struggling. Played a little bit better last week. Thank goodness he has Malik Nabers. If he didn't have Malik Nabers, he would be in a lot of trouble. I mean, I don't even know if he'd be the starting quarterback because he looks so bad in the preseason. And pretty much the only thing the Giants have going for them right now is they throw the ball to Malik Nabers, and you see that old meme of, oh, so-and-so's down there somewhere. That's the Giants playbook right now. Right now the Giants are averaging 294.7 yards a game, so just shy of 300, but that does put them in the bottom. And they're in the bottom 12 as far as offensive efficiency goes. Dallas is 6th in the league as far as points per game goes. They're averaging 25.7 points a game, while the Giants are a 29th best in the league, 15 points per game. So they're really going to have to come up with some different schemes and some plays to get Malik Nabers open and get him the ball in order to keep up with Dallas' offense. However, on the defensive side of the ball, the New York Giants are 15th best in the league. They're only allowing 318 yards a game versus Dallas, who was averaging 372 yards a game, so almost 400. So things kind of even out there a little bit as far as these two teams go. Now, we're 3 weeks in. As far as, kind of where we sit now, I know it's really too early to be talking playoffs and MVP awards and Offensive Player of the Awards, but in my most non-biased opinion, throughout the first 3 weeks, Saquon Barkley for the Philadelphia Eagles is the MVP of the league. He is that offense right now. Nothing else is going for them, for the Eagles. A.J. Brown's out. Devontae Smith is out due to a big hit that he took against New Orleans. A lot of people say that was a dirty hit. I don't think it was dirty. That's coming from an Eagles fan. The whistle didn't blow. It was clean. Anyway, getting sidetracked, back to Saquon. Saquon went off for a 65-yard touchdown run at New Orleans when the play calling was questionable and there really wasn't a lot going on offense. We were going for it on fourth down almost every time, and we were failing. Giving Saquon the ball changes everything. He leads the league in rushing right now. He's got 351 rushing yards. He scores every game, and just watching him play week 1 in Brazil against Green Bay, week 2 on Monday night against Atlanta, and then last week's game against the Saints, when the ball is in his hands, you never know what's going to happen. He's so explosive, and it's so fun to see him finally on a team that utilizes him correctly. Granted, he is also staying healthy so far this season. But so far, Saquon Barkley is not only the most explosive player in the league right now, but he is MVP of this season right now. I know it's only week 3. It's very early. As far as, big surprises go, my biggest surprise so far of this season is the Cincinnati Bengals. Man, I really had them as the favorite to win the North. Joe Burrow's healthy. This is Jamar Chase is back. T. Higgins is back. We saw what happened in Kansas City, ended close. I thought maybe the week 1 game against the Patriots was kind of a fluke. And then this past Monday, they just weren't able to keep up with the Commanders on offense. Most of the problems are definitely coming from the defensive side of the ball. I mean, they cannot stop anything on Monday night. Speaking of surprises and speaking of Monday Night Football, the Washington Commanders are also a big surprise. They're sitting at 2-1 right now. Them going into Cincinnati on Monday night and taking out the Bengals, who I think myself and a lot of people had as probably a top 5 team going in the league, that's a huge win for that franchise. That's probably the biggest regular season win for Washington as long as I could remember. With a rookie quarterback, not a lot of weapons on offense, I mean, they played the perfect game to beat those guys. Not only did they play a perfect game on Monday night, they haven't punted the ball since week 1. Think about that. The Washington Commanders have not punted the ball since week 1. This could be a team to really have to keep your eyes on, especially in the NFC East. The Eagles cannot take them lightly. The Cowboys cannot take them lightly. I don't think any team in the NFC can take them lightly. Staying in the NFC, another big surprise for me is the Minnesota Vikings. Sam Darnold is leading the league in touchdown passes right now. And they're the only team, I'm going to look this up real quick just to make sure I'm correct, to be in the top, on offense, they're top 3 in points per game, and on defense, they're number 1 in sacks. This team that just sent Danielle Hunter to Houston, and we all thought that the pass rush was going to be their biggest issue, leads the league in sacks right now. And with their, who was supposed to be backup quarterback, is leading the league in touchdown passes. This team looks good. Very good. And to my surprise and everybody else's, I think throughout 3 weeks of the season, the Minnesota Vikings are the best team. Think about it, week 1, I mean, they handled the Giants. They were on the road. I mean, they took care of business there. Then week 2, the defending NFC champions, granted they were banged up, they beat the Niners. I mean, they didn't beat them down, but they beat them handily. I mean, 97-yard touchdown pass to Justin Jefferson. Sam Darnold played flawless. They got the Brock Purdy. Granted, the 49ers were banged up, but it usually doesn't matter for the Niners. I mean, they were banged up in week 1, but they took care of the Jets. And then going into last week, I did not expect them to just put the absolute beat down on the Houston Texans the way they did. Sam Darnold had 3 touchdown passes. Justin Jefferson was getting open. They were all over on defense. I mean, they look really, really good. Versus, you look at the other 3-0 teams, they're kind of one-dimensional, right? Like the Steelers have a really good defense, and that's why they're 3-0. But their offense is just hasn't really got going. You look at a 3-0 team like the Kansas City Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes has thrown 5 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, and Travis Kelce is non-existent. Kind of snuck by the Ravens, right? I mean, they played a good game, but they snuck by them. Really got lucky against Cincinnati in week 2. And then due to some questionable officiating in the Atlanta game this past Sunday. They snuck by with a 22-17 victory against the Falcons. So, I mean, just a lot of big surprises that are kind of a mystery so far. And I know it's early, and I know we don't want to look into that too much this early, but it's been a big surprise. And then I also think there's a couple of fluky teams in there. I think Seattle's kind of had they're 3-0, but they usually start off hot, kind of fall towards the end of the season. We're going to learn a lot about them this coming Monday night against the Lions. They're going to Detroit. If they can go into Detroit and pull off that win in the primetime game, I'll believe in the Seahawks. As of right now, their resume is a Week 1 win at home against a rookie quarterback, a Week 2 victory against the Patriots in overtime, kind of snuck by them, and then they handled a Miami Dolphins team that was coming off a devastating injury to their quarterback the week before and had Skylar Thompson starting. So I think they're still a little bit fluky right now. As far as other disappointments go so far, man, my guy Will Levis, I really had high hopes for him. I thought he was going to come into this year and really show that he was, going to be one of the top younger quarterbacks in the league. So far, it has not happened. Granted, the offensive line is just atrocious in Tennessee. He's getting his ass kicked on every play. He's getting his butt kicked on every play. Turning the ball over a lot, though. A lot of very questionable decisions coming from Will Levis almost every game, which makes him so fun to watch because you never know what he's going to do. So far, those are my biggest surprises and biggest disappointments of the season so far. Let's do a little speed round predicting all the games for Week 4. So first game, obviously, is tonight. Dallas Cowboys at the New York Giants. Look for the Giants to give Malik Neighbors quite a bit of touches tonight to keep up with that Cowboys offense. However, I don't think it's going to be enough. I think Dak and CD get back on track after their sideline spat last weekend. I got the Cowboys beating the Giants. Next game, my Eagles travel to Tampa Bay to take on the Buccaneers. Eagles wide receiver core is really banged up. No A.J. Brown, no Devontae Smith, no Britton Covey. Saquon Barkley is going to get a lot of touches this upcoming game against Tampa Bay, as he always does. If he's on your fantasy team, definitely start him. I still think we got enough to take down the Buccaneers. I'm going with my Birds to take down the Bucks. Next game, one of the most underrated rivalries in the NFL, the New Orleans Saints traveling to Atlanta to take on the Falcons. I actually have the Saints in this one. I still kind of believe in the Saints. Their defense showed out last week. They couldn't really get going much on offense, but that was just the Eagles' defense just played much better. But I think they traveled to Atlanta. I got them taking down the Falcons. Falcons are a 2.5-point favorite in that one. Next game, Bengals and the Panthers. Panthers surprised us all last week. They benched Bryce Young, started Andy Dalton, went into Las Vegas, and beat the Raiders down. However, I think after hearing a few things from Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase this week, Burrow mentioning that he wants to be more of a vocal leader, especially after a 0-3 start like this, I think this is the perfect game for the Bengals to get back on track, to travel to Carolina and take on a not so good Panthers team. I got the Bengals winning on the road. Next game, LA Rams traveling to Chicago to take on the Bears. Bears are a 3-point favorite. They just haven't shown me enough, the Bears. I mean, their offensive line is still terrible. Caleb Williams had his best game last week. He finally got over 300 yards, but he's just running for his life on every play. And the Rams picked up a big win against the 49ers at home. They're going to ride that momentum. I got the Rams, a lot of away teams winning this week. I got the Rams traveling to Chicago to take on the Bears. Minnesota Vikings at the Green Bay Packers is the next game. Still not clear if Jordan Love is going to start or not for the Packers. I would imagine it's going to be Malik Willis. I don't think Love is 100% yet. And like I said earlier, I think the Vikings, they got the pass rush. They got the offense going. They're going to take down their division rivals, Green Bay Packers, at Lambeau. I got the Vikings in that one. Next game, another big rivalry, Jacksonville Jaguars at the Houston Texans. That's an easy one. Jacksonville's terrible right now. Houston looks great. Well, they did look great last week, but I think they're definitely the clear favorite to win that division. I got Houston in a bounce-back game at home to beat the Jaguars. Next game, Pittsburgh Steelers at the Indianapolis Colts. Anthony Richardson for the Colts, he's just turning the ball over too much. They're relying too much on their run game. And right now, the Pittsburgh Steelers are only allowing an average of, I think, 70 yards a game on the ground. if you're the Colts, good luck. I mean, I just think the Steelers' defense is too good. I got the Steelers winning this one. One thing I do like about watching this Colts team, they're young and they're still learning. You can tell Jonathan Taylor is really kind of that vocal leader on offense. I think if they continue to ride him, they will eventually have the potential to be a wild card team. But like I said, Steelers defense, T.J. Watt, Patrick Queen, all those guys, they're just really dynamic right now. I got the Steelers winning that one. Next game, Denver Broncos at the New York Jets. Aaron Rodgers looked like he is back in full form after last week's Thursday night victory against the Patriots. I got the Jets winning that one. Washington Commanders at the Arizona Cardinals. You know, I think it's going to be a close game, and I know I just spoke really highly of Jaden Daniels and that Commanders offense. You know, they haven't punted since week 1, which is crazy impressive. But I don't know. I'm still feeling good about this Cardinals team. I still think they're going to surprise a lot of people. They're at home. I got Kyler Murray and the Cardinals winning in a bounce-back game. Next game is the Patriots at the 49ers. 49ers are still really banged up. They're finally going to get George Kittle back this week. That's going to help that offense, you know, open some plays up for the running game. He's one of the best blocking tight ends in the NFL. I got the 49ers taking out the Patriots at home. Cleveland Browns and the Las Vegas Raiders. Two teams that look good one week, the next week not so good. Yeah, it's still early. I'm only going with the Raiders just because I trust them a little more on offense, and they're at home. So, I mean, that's one of those games that could go either way. Raiders are only a 2-point favorite, so going with the Raiders. Next one, big game here. This is a chance for Jim Harbaugh to prove that he belongs in the NFL and that his LA Chargers are going to be a force to be reckoned with in the AFC West. They're hosting the defending champion Kansas City Chiefs. I don't know what to expect here. Chiefs haven't looked good, even for a 3-0 team. The Chargers love to run the football. J.K. Dobbins was leading the league in rushing throughout the first 2 weeks. Look for him to get a lot of touches. Justin Herbert had that high ankle sprain a couple weeks ago. Hopefully he's back at 100%. Derwin James has been suspended. You know, the heart and soul of that Chargers defense will not be on the field. That's really going to hurt them. So far, Chargers haven't showed me enough for me to think that they're going to take the torch in the AFC West. So I got the Chiefs winning that one. The Sunday night game in primetime, we got the Buffalo Bills at the Baltimore Ravens. I haven't talked about how good the Bills are enough. They're not much of a surprise. They looked fantastic on Monday night against the Buffalo Bills. They won 47-10. I thought with Stephon Diggs and Gabriel Davis leaving, that offense is going to struggle. So far, I've been dead wrong. They get the ball to James Cook. Their rookie wide receiver, Keon Coleman, gets plenty of catches. The offensive line's great. Josh Allen can still take off on the ground. Bills Mafia is going to be, this is at Baltimore, but Bills Mafia has been running wild. Lamar Jackson and the Ravens are going to give them a game, but I think the Bills are too good. I got the Bills winning on Sunday night. We got 2 Monday night games this week. We got the Titans at the Dolphins. I think Will Levis gets his first victory against a struggling Dolphins team this season. Titans move on to 1-3. They avoid the 0-4 start. And the big Monday night game, we got the Seattle Seahawks against the defending NFC North champion Detroit Lions. Haven't been very impressed with Detroit. I still think this would be a big game for Seattle to really prove themselves, though. If they can go into Detroit and beat a team that made it to the NFC Championship last year, that's big for them. But right now, I'm still leaning towards the home team. I'm going to go with the Lions on this one. Lions are a 3.5-point favorite on that one. That game's on ABC. Titans and Dolphins are on ESPN. Running out of time here. Thanks so much for listening, guys. Please hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button for me. Love talking sports with you guys. And I will be back with another video soon. Thank you. Have a good night.